Express as a fraction in lowest terms, 4%. And so we have to take 4% and express it as a fraction in lowest terms. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 4 and we're going to put it over 100. Now, you can use the percentage symbol to remind you that you have to put it over 100 because you can look at this slant line and this can remind you that you have to use 1. And you can look at these two circles and they can remind you that you have to use the 2 zeros. But 4% expressed as a fraction is going to be 4 over 100 in the same way as 5% expressed as a fraction is going to be 5 over 100. But this is not in simplest form. We have to reduce this further, and we're going to use 4 because 4 goes into 4 and 4 goes into 100. And so 4 divided by 4 is definitely 1, and 100 divided by 4 is definitely 25. And so that means our answer here is 1 over 25. Next, it states here, expressed as a fraction in lowest terms, 0.375. 0.375. Now, how are we going to take this decimal and express it as a fraction? Notice that there are 3 numbers behind the decimal point. There are 3 numbers behind this decimal point. And those 3 numbers can help us in understanding how many zeros we're going to use. Notice that there are 3 numbers behind the decimal point, and there are 3 zeros. If there were 2 numbers behind the decimal point, we would use 100. And if there were 1 number behind the decimal point, we'd use 10, right? But there are 3 numbers behind the decimal point, which means that we have to use 1,000. And so we take 375 and we put it over 1,000. But this fraction is not in simplest form yet. What number can go into 375 and 1,000 without leaving a remainder? Let's use 25. So we say 375 divided by 25, and that gives us 15. And we say 1,000 divided by 25, that gives us 40. And so we have 14 over 40, but this is not in lowest terms as yet. There is a number that we can use that can go into both 15 and 40 without leaving a remainder, and we can use 5. So we have 15 divided by 5, and 15 divided by 5 is definitely 3. And we have 40 divided by 5, and that's definitely 8. And so that means that 0.375 written as a fraction in lowest terms is 3 over 8. Next, we have this question, which states that for the fractions 2 over 4, 2 over 5, and 1 over 6, write down the lowest common denominator. So the denominators are 4, 5, and 6, and our goal is to write down the lowest common denominator among these 3 denominators. And so let's begin to list the multiples of 4. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, and 60, and the list goes on. Multiples of 5 are going to be 4. Multiples of 5 are going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and the list goes on. And multiples of 6 are going to be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, and 72. And so if we look here, the lowest common multiple of these 3 numbers, 4, 5, and 6, is definitely 60. And so that means that 60 is the lowest common denominator and so that means that 60 is the lowest common denominator for the fractions 3 over 4, 2 over 5, 1 over 6. Indeed, 60 is the answer.